Good afternoon, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm well. How are you all?
We're doing terrific. Thanks for joining us. Pregame is coming up in 35 minutes here on your home of the Rangers. And Michael Lorenzen debuting tonight. Is that the top thing on your radar going into tonight's game, or what's rattling around upstairs for you right now?
No, absolutely. We're excited to see Michael debut tonight. Certainly, he's a very good major league player. Was an all-star last year. He's going to be a huge addition to our rotation, and excited to get him out there. It's familiar territory for him. Obviously, he pitched for the Tigers some, so excited to get him out there and hopefully be a boost to our team and get us rolling here.
Do you think he has a chance? I was looking at how last year went, and maybe the total innings pitched caught up with him, created some fatigue. Are we going to get a even better version of Lorenzen this year?
That's a great question. It's something I think we're hoping for. I think that anytime you push past a barrier, an inning barrier that you've never hit before, there is a fatigue level that sets in. I certainly experienced that in my career, and I think that we probably can attribute some of the struggles down the stretch last year for him to that inning total. That said, he's in phenomenal shape. He's a tremendous worker, and he's really, really motivated. He is mad at the way the industry valued him this winter, and he wants to prove everybody what he is capable of, and I'm excited to see him go out there and do it. And at the end of the day, he's a very good major league pitcher, and I think he's going to help us out.
See, why you mentioned he's mad about the way that everybody kind of thought about him. Is that something that when you start to evaluate players that you ask them questions like that? Do you say, how do you feel about your situation, stuff like that, when maybe you get a chance to interview him to bring him on board?
Yeah, we didn't talk to Michael specifically before signing him, but when we do have access to players, we do ask those questions about what drives them, what motivates them. And in this case, his agent did a great job of really representing his thoughts on kind of falling through the cracks of free agency and how he was undervalued or overlooked. And that was, I think, something that really has eaten at him and motivated him. And we're very thankful that he chose to be here, that we were able to scoop him up at the end of free agency. And then tonight we're going to get to see him in action. My hope is that it's going to be a great game, but even if tonight didn't go well, I'm very confident he's going to give us a high-level quality performance over the course of the season.
See, why we've known you now going on here in the second year with you, and you're never going to make excuses about your team or anything like that. But is it hard to evaluate your team right now where you're really at with what you're dealing with some of the injuries that you're having to go through?
Yeah, and you're right. I'm not going to make excuses because we're good enough to win with or without injuries. I believe in our players, and I believe that when we play our best baseball that we can compete with the best teams in the big leagues. And, the last week it's been a little challenging. Oakland is a very scrappy, solid team. We had a ninth inning loss there that really kind of hurt. We would have won 2 or 3 against them. And then we went down to Houston, and Houston is a very good team, as we know. And we just didn't play very good baseball. So I think it's a good chance for us to kind of jump back in Detroit, bounce back, and reestablish who we are, what we do well, and just stick to our brand of baseball. And if we do that, we can play with anybody. And I think that we have a very deep team. We've had opportunities for guys to step up and really fill in these injuries. And Josh Smith is a perfect example. He's doing a wonderful job of filling in for Josh Young. He's playing a very good third base. He's played very good short for the days he's played over there when Corey's been off. And so, I have a high level of confidence in our players. We just haven't clicked on all cylinders yet. I think when we've hit, we haven't, pitched to the level we can. And when we've pitched poorly, we obviously those games are tough to win. So if we just stick to who we are, we're going to be just fine. But there's no doubt the injuries are a part of it. Any team that suffers significant injuries to core pieces, they're going to have challenges throughout the year. And, we're facing those right now. My hope is that we're going to get healthy and we're going to roll when we are.
Yeah, the health factor makes it even more challenging. But how tough is it to assess a team with just such small sample sizes at this point?
It is, and it's a little bit tough stretch right now. I mean, 17 straight is a really tough stretch, especially in April when you're really trying to get your guys kind of just off to a good start. And we've got some young players in Evan and Wyatt who are going through their first full big league season. we've got some veteran players who pitched and played really deep into the season last year, really, into November. And we had abbreviated spring training, some that are coming off injuries. There's just a ton of reasons why, we should expect this to be a tough stretch for us. That said, I know our group and I know their mentality. I know they expect to win every night, and I know they're not happy with the results thus far.
It's CY with you, dropping knowledge on your Rangers. And as a pitcher, you said the increased inning count is something that you experienced during your career as far as adversity to get through. How about punching something that broke your hand? Did you ever have to go through that?
Well, I can say I probably have shared Brock's level of frustration. I just was fortunate enough not to punch anything hard enough that could break my hand. And, it's really an unfortunate circumstance. And I do empathize with Brock. He didn't punch this wall because he was happy with his performance. He didn't punch it because he just didn't care. I mean, there's a high care factor and a high frustration level. Unfortunately, he made a really bad decision in terms of taking it out on the wall and hurting himself and hurting the team. And Brock's got to live with the consequences of that. He's going to miss time, and we're certainly going to miss the healthy version of Brock. But that said, it's a learning moment for everybody. We're certainly going to use this throughout our organization as an example of what not to do when you're frustrated. And Brock, hopefully will come back with, a different understanding of how to handle these moments moving forward that'll better serve himself and the team.
I was thinking about maybe adding some level of like a punch wall in the clubhouse. It's softer, maybe like a foam area, just like this is our designated punching area to let out the obvious frustrations at times.
It's probably not a bad idea, but every person has a different way of dealing with the frustrations and the highs and lows that come with the game. And again, like I said, Brock wants to be great. He really he cares, and it hurts me that he's this angry and frustrated with himself that he took it out in a way that really hurt himself and the team. That said, we want players that care, and we'd rather have it this way than the opposite.
Now, Boach said Leiter possibly Wednesday. What goes into that decision?
Well, we're talking through some options right now, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but as I said, this is a 17-game stretch. Ideally, we were going to have Lorenzen jump back into the rotation this week and give everybody an extra day's rest, go to a six-man rotation for the week, give everybody an extra day here in the middle of this stretch where guys are pitching on 4 days rest early in the season. With Cody Bradford going on the IL, we're not going to be able to do that. So we're considering spot start from a couple different people, and Jack's name has come up in that conversation, and we're going to kind of see how tonight goes and look to make a decision.
See why I'm going to award my annual steak dinner to whatever the scout was that got you convinced to sign David Robertson, though, as a pitcher and what he's been able to do. A veteran guy, is it one of those things where when you get a guy like that that's kind of seen it all, you just let him go out there and do his own thing, and it looks like that he has just really adapted to everything you guys are asking him to do?
Well, he's been fun to watch. David's been awesome. He's been a great teammate. I've really enjoyed my conversations with him in the clubhouse. He's got a beautiful family who I hope is having a great experience here in Texas, and really just a real competitor. I mean, not afraid of anything. And this is a guy who's done it on the big stage for a number of different teams, and certainly pitching for the Yankees on those good Yankee teams. And he's really just a great competitor. And one of my favorite David stories was that before we got to spring training, he sent Mike Maddox his schedule and said, "This is what I need. These are the days I'll pitch, and I'll be ready for the season." And Mike said, "Okay, done." And, normally it's the pitching coach scripting out the pitcher's schedule and kind of mapping it all out. But David just supplied it to Mike, and Mike said, "Good to go." And sure enough, he has been. He's been a lot of fun to watch. And
he's been outstanding for you guys. Do you have to be, and I hate to say this, you have to be careful with somebody that, or is it just he knows himself so well that you don't worry about a guy like that? I mean, he being at an advanced age, but pitching at such a high level here early in the season.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is you just trust the age and the experience. We're going through something similar right now with Max Scherzer. Max knows his body. He knows his buildup. He knows what he needs. And so we want to make sure we protect the player from himself mainly because these guys are elite athletes who push the boundaries of what they're capable of doing, and sometimes that does result in injury. But when you have players like Max and David Robertson who've been around and done it, they really know what they need, and they're very honest, and they communicate very well. And so we kind of let them guide us. But again, it speaks to who these guys are, and there's a reason these guys have pitched into their late 30s so successfully, and that's because they have a high care factor, and they are very in tune with their bodies, and they are just elite in every way. It's not just the physical talent, but it's the drive and the work ethic and all the intangibles that have allowed them to play so long and have so much success.
You got Chapman early last year. You were the envy of other front offices, but
for sure.
It's too early to be talking about that kind of stuff, right? Fans want to know, are you thinking about moves already?
You know, guys, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here, and you guys are so kind to say that we got Chapman early and we're the envy of other front offices. I mean, Cole Reagans is a heck of a pitcher and pitching great for Kansas City, and so I really appreciate you guys not bringing him up. Maybe this is a smart media move to beat you to it and bring it up before you guys can. But you know,
we see why
you savvy that.
No, I got buddies. I got buddies around the league that are scouting guys. They're like, your guy CY got after this early. Like he was beating everybody to the punch. So we're giving you credit because like I say, these guys I trust. And they're saying no, CY's on the job. So that's why we're saying that.
Well, I'm my own biggest critic, and look, I'll say this. Chappie helped us win the World Series. I have no doubt that we don't get there without him. But Cole Reagans is a phenomenal talent.
Sure.
He's doing great things. He's going to have a great career, and I'm really happy for him. He's getting the runway he needed and deserved in Kansas City, and we couldn't quite provide that to him last year as we were in win-now mode. That said, you know, hindsight's 20/20 with these things. But last year's team got off to such a hot start. It really allowed us to be aggressive early. I think part of it, too, was that we saw how thin the bullpen was. It was a clear need, and when we had the opportunity to move and acquire Chappie, we did what it took to get him, and he certainly helped us win. He was, for a stretch there, I thought the best reliever in baseball for a 6 or 8 week stretch there midseason, and you know, helped us into the postseason too. So you know, we're going to stay open-minded. I don't know exactly what the needs are going to be. They may change between now and the time the trade deadline rolls around. I just hope that we're in a position early enough that it's very clear that we're buying, and then at that point we'll do our best to upgrade the team.
Yeah, anybody brings up that Reagans thing, you just, you know, act like you're pondering about it and put your thumb on your chin and show them that championship ring. I'd say it's worth it, CY.
Oh, well, it definitely was. That said, Cole, like I said, he's we'll miss him in time, I have no doubt, but I'm wishing him the best.
That won't make you gun shy, will it?
No, I mean, you gotta give up something to get something, and if we're trying to win, I'm always going to be aggressive and give our guys the best chance to win championships. That's what this game is about, and it worked out last year. We made some bold moves with, acquiring Chapman and Monty and Scherzer, and I think each one of those in their own way helped us win a championship. And we lost some really good players too, but nobody's going to trade that for the championship we won.
I love it, sir. Have yourself a great afternoon. Give him hell. We'll be pulling for you.
Guys, thanks so much. Great chatting with you.